guys, welcome to the Macro Trader Update, and today is Tuesday, February 27th. Today what we'll talk about is main market, talk a little bit about the Bitcoin and how everything is moving, and talk about some of the trades that I'm taking today in big tech. Thanks guys for dealing with my audio for a little bit. I've been playing around with it in the back end. With my current mic setup, I've been trying different configurations and different Windows settings, and it still hasn't worked. It's been giving me wonky results. I actually bought a new microphone, and even though I got this microphone brand new, I plugged it in and it still doesn't work, and I actually ordered another one just to see. I was on Reddit and some people said that the microphone just doesn't work out of the box. And I even bought, extra cables and everything else to make sure that the audio is a little bit better for you guys. So thank you for toughing it out for the audio. I'll make sure to make some improvements with this, and yeah, thank you for understanding. So diving into the NASDAQ, or the QQQ, for today. On the daily time chart, we essentially have a 4 sell countdown for combo. This indicates that we're in an uptrend right now, but from what I'm looking at, it seems like it's consolidating right now. We don't have any upper targets and any lower targets. Essentially pretty tight range for the market right now. Then our RSI building momentum, and it's basically gaining some steam here and getting into the oversold territory, or moving towards the upper part of the range. So essentially the market is flat today at about 0.17%. Looking at the daily time chart, we have some upper targets of 441 and some higher targets of 452. The lower end of the range, we have 443. A bit sold from the hourly chart from RSI. And then diving over to the weekly chart, we have a upper target and upwave projection for 470. We are currently, we don't have any countdowns right now for DeMark, but we are in the overbought territory, which is good for the market. It doesn't mean necessarily it's bad. So from this view of the market, we kind of see that, it's either consolidating or we're still in an uptrend. But since crypto is taking over right now, we could be seeing the tech market and the overall market take a little bit of a step back. If we take a look at Bitcoin, it's been the main star of the show right now. Currently, it's at 57,000, and we made about 5% today. Currently, we have a 2 sell countdown for DeMark. So we're in an uptrend, and we still got some room to go here. We're hugging the upper end of the Bollinger Band, and just means that the market's getting slightly stretched. Right now we have some upper targets still of $58,000, and that's probably where the market might get a little exhausted on the upside. On the downside, we have some targets of $52,000. From an RSI take, we currently see that it's building momentum, essentially. Nothing to take from there. Looking at the hourly chart, we had some 13s here. Again, 13s are our strongest signals for DeMark, and makes sense why the market is slowing down here a little bit. We have some upper targets of $58,000, which is in line with our daily. And from lower targets, we have $56,000, and below that is $54,000. At the weekly time frame, we have some upper targets of $75,000, unchanged from last time. Right now, we currently have a D wave indicating just the top of a wave right now. Doesn't necessarily mean anything major, but we're making some new yearly highs, so that makes sense. For an RSI take, we are in the middle of the range, heading towards that overbought condition, but still not there yet. Pal gave us a little bit of an update yesterday. Pal basically is the CEO of Real Vision and runs Global Macro Investor. Global Macro Investor is Raul's flagship investment grade research company. Raul retweeted Julian Bittleman, who is the CFA and the main analyst for GMI. Julian shows us this awesome chart here of the different stages and the different seasons for Bitcoin. As you can see from the charts, currently we are in Bitcoin Summer, which is a great period for Bitcoin. Looking historically in the past, in the cycles of 2012, 2016, and then also 2020, we've seen some major price increases during crypto summer. As you can see, we're really just at the very forefront of the cycle, and we still do have a lot of price appreciation. Bitcoin Archive just tweeted this, and Bitcoin hit $6 billion for ETF inflows. Taking a closer look at the inflows, we see that yesterday we had inflows of almost $520 million. It seems like a current really strong trend for Bitcoin. Probably, shows us why from the technicals and from the fundamentals we've been seeing such a crazy increase in the price of Bitcoin. Moving over to my tactical trade on CleanSpark, I took a little bit of gains today. I took about 5% of my tactical position. I haven't really touched much of my major long-term position, but this shorter-term position, I took some profits off because of this daily chart. Essentially, what we did was we blew past the D-Wave projections for around $20, and on the daily time frame, we hit the upper targets of $21.40. I took some profits off again over the last 2 days at about 10%. And what I'm going to do is actually go over another trade with you guys. Essentially, it doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on CleanSpark and Bitcoin in general. It's just a good habit as a trader to take some profits as things are going up. It doesn't mean you have to sell your whole entire position, free up some funds, and then allows you to do some other trades and swing it into some other parts of the market that are a little bit unloved right now. So the tactical trade I took today was actually an options trade on Apple. Daily charts, we see that there's a buy countdown of 8, and we have some indicators for lines. Right now, the RSI just got out of the oversold territory, and that's a good position to get into. Some of the targets I'm looking at for Apple is going to be $196 range. As you can see, from the daily chart, we bumped down and hit some support levels here at around 180. So I figured there would be a good technical move right now. As we see crypto rally, we see tech being flat right now. That's a good sign. And then I want to be able to swing some of my profits from crypto and the CleanSpark trade over into Apple. So for my trading journal, I put most of my trades in here. My long-term investments I don't put in here. The trading journal helps me assess myself and see if I'm improving or areas that I'm struggling with. So for today's trade, I put in a trade entry for February 27th at 10:14. The instrument I used was Apple. We won't go into the default setup, but I entered at a price of $188 and I bought 2 contracts. I don't have an exit date yet, and I'll put in those entries once I make an exit trade. And for most trades, it's always good to have a stop loss. So I have my stop loss. So if Apple falls below $178, I'll make sure to take this position off. Just as another note, Edgewonk doesn't put in so much details on it, but I do have a note in here that I bought $190 April 24 call. I picked April as a time frame just to buy myself some time. Most of the time, the theta decay or the value of the option or the intrinsic value of the option decreases a lot during the last 2 weeks. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to buy some time, and I think by April timeframe, my thesis should play out. So another question you might have is why I picked the $190 strike price. The $190 strike price comes from my upper targets here for D-Wave. As I mentioned, I have an upper target right now of $196. I don't want to use that exact $196 since it might not reach there and it's just a projection. I want to play it a little bit safe as well too and buy a contract at the $190 price range. The last thing I want to talk to you guys today was a change to my long-term Bitcoin allocation in my HSA IRA and Roth IRA. I took about a 5% profit. Not, again, it's very similar to my CleanSpark trade. Doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on it, but I did want to free up about a little bit of my capital to enter into some strangles and selling some calls as well too. I do need a little bit of capital for that, so I wanted to free up that cash, and I think that's a good time right now in the market as we're hitting some resistance on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. I really don't want to mess this up, so I still want to keep a large portion, 80-90% of my holdings as long term right now, because we do have a lot more, and going back to Julian's chart, and we're really at the very beginning of this Bitcoin bull run. So I also don't want to take too much off. I also do want to de-risk a little bit since this could be a local top and we don't know. That's what you'll be learning in trading and investing is not everything's an exact science and not everything has an exact formula, but I know that at this piece, I wanted to free up some cash and to de-risk myself a little bit. So I'll catch you guys next time, and then we'll talk a little bit tomorrow.